Yo, what's up, everybody? I'm Paulie Malignaggi. That's Tommy Rayno, and this is Tommy and Paulie's Big Fight Forecast, and we have got a major fight week. Tommy, where do I even start here? Canelo in the main event Saturday, Inoue in the main event Sunday, and all kinds of good fights on the undercard.
Yeah, this is the fight. This is the card we've been waiting for, right? This is probably not only the pay per view of the year, but it's the event of the year. Honestly, I mean, before we get into it later, but I think that Alvarez Crawford, in my opinion, is a little bit of a money grab, and I've been saying that kind of like a Pacquiao Mayweather situation where these guys are fighting a little bit past their expiration date. Both are a little bit on the decline, but we'll break that down later. So that's why I say event. But the undercard is so stacked and so well organized with the matchmaking that I think the card can't fail anyway. And on Netflix, is going to get so many eyeballs. So, I mean, this is both the event of the year and the pay per view card of the year.
Yeah, I think that it's the main event is more for the casuals. I don't think
Mm-hmm.
I think hardcore boxing fans can see through the fog of the main event. Older guys past their primes, three weight classes separating them. I mean, I barely count Crawford having fought a junior middleweight one time. So I don't really, the main event doesn't really excite me. It's just one of those things you watch because it's boxing and two big names. But as hardcore boxing fans, there's something in it for hardcore boxing fans too with these on the card fights. And of course, Inoue is always one for the hardcores as well. He's solid and always entertaining.
Yes, but Inoue is a separate show, so we're gonna do one more show tomorrow with the Inoue fight and the Donovan rematch. But we're
Mhm.
just gonna stick to the pay per view card for this Saturday.
All right.
Um, who I think you said who starts it off?
Boachuk and Brandon Adams is the opening fight.
That's the opening fight. Yeah, and that's a rematch. That's a rematch of a very good fight the first time around.
Mhm.
Um,
Well, was it a very good fight, or was it Boachuk just dominating and then he got stopped?
he was dominating to a degree, yeah. But I mean, Adams was lending his shots along the way as well. And the hook that eventually got him out of there was a hook he was kind of setting up throughout the course of the fight and landing it, but not landing it on the sweet spot.
So what do you think for Saturday? I mean, first of all, what are the odds we're looking at? Because Boachuk was way ahead in the first fight and got stopped. So I'm assuming he's, going in as a pretty big favorite. But is
You,
Adams live again based on the fact that he was able to stop Boachuk, and he's to this point been the only guy to beat Boachuk.
Paulie, every time
Actually, no,
you,
Virgil beat
yeah,
him.
yeah, Virgil. Well, you know what? I mean, also, I think you always when anytime you plant that seed of a live bet, it's usually a good idea. You seem to hit it on the head with the right fights. This might be a live bet situation too. Kind of feel it out how the first 2-3 rounds are going. Listen, this is the separation here. Adams has only fought, I think, 3 times since their first fight. All right,
Mhm,
which was, I believe, back in 2021. All right,
mhm,
Boachuk's been in there 6, 7 times. He had the war with Virgil Ortiz, which arguably he won. He got robbed of a knockdown or two in that fight, which would have swung the
mhm.
fight in his direction. So I think Boachuk has the momentum here and is the more improved fighter of the two here. And Adams, I think, is around 35, 36 years old. So, I mean, those things are going to dictate those odds being minus 550 like they are. But listen, Paulie, as you know, a lot of times the guy that wins the first fight, you have that psychological advantage, especially when it's by stoppage. More so when it's by stoppage than it's by decision, because you kind of own something over somebody for life when you stop them. It's a difference than beating somebody on a decision. And to do it from a come from behind fashion, he took his O at the time he was undefeated, Boachuk, and I mean it was a pretty brutal knockout.
But do you think that applies in this case where Boachuk, like you said, has been active? He's been in
Mm-hmm.
wars with top level opposition like Virgil, even dropping guys like Virgil, taking Virgil's best shots and putting him down. Does it apply here? I mean, wouldn't Boachuk's confidence probably, in my opinion, Boachuk would probably be chomping at the bit to go get this guy and get him back, after the way Boachuk's been looking since.
Yeah, more so because I mean I'm sure he feels the same way as most people do that he probably deserved the nod over Ortiz. He lost a very close. I don't know if it was a majority or a split, but again, he got robbed of a knockdown along the way. So he should have had 2 knockdowns in that fight. And that's the swing right there. So probably in his mind, this is the only guy that has defeated him. So he wants to avenge that loss. Yeah. So it's going to be a good fight. I'm going to go with a little bit of a different pick on this one. He's 26-2 with 24 knockouts. So I mean, this guy is a puncher, Boachuk. But I actually see this fight going the distance. I think he does win. I think he wins a 10 round decision.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? You think
Yeah.
when you think Rand Adams goes this even at 36 years old?
I'll tell you why, because you got to respect a guy that has knocked you out the first time around. All right. So he's going to be a little leery those first 3, 4 rounds of his power and trying to box a little bit more and use the jab and find his range before I think he's opening up and feeling confident and comfortable.
Man, that's an interesting one. What is the odds for the fight to go to distance?
I think it was minus 116. I think they were both about. Let me double check. Boachuk. Here we are. So plus 150 for the decision, plus 800 for Adams to get the decision.
Yeah, that's gonna be tough because Adams wasn't winning the decision even the first time around, no?
No, he was behind the scorecards. Yeah, and for the fight to go the distance, minus 116.
Minus 116 for the
Yeah,
fight to go to distance.
yeah.
So the fight not to go to distance is plus.
Is let me double check. I just lost it here,
The
Paul.
undercard is really tricky because it's all 10 rounders, right? So
Okay, so it's for the night not go distance. They're both negative odds, so minus 124.
yeah, oh, okay. All
Yeah,
right, interesting. So you like this fight to go to distance. So Boachuk on points, I assume.
that's what I'm leaning towards in a 10 rounder here. This is the one fight that I actually have this weird feeling that does go the distance, and he went the distance in his last fight. Um,
I don't know, man. I think Boachuk could stop him, man. I got some weird feelings about this. And obviously, Tommy, you're the guy who is the standard pick here. But man, I feel like Boachuk could get a stoppage here too, man. It's like
it's a possibility for
because
sure. I mean,
Adams is
listen, there's
older.
nothing wrong with a little
Adams
disagreement.
Adams is older as well, man. It's
He's a durable guy, though, Paul. He's only been stopped one time his entire career.
yeah,
Um,
but
he went the
he's
distance, I
only
believe.
he's never been this old his entire career until now, too, right?
Very good point. Very good point. Let me double check who was the one guy that stopped because I know he fought Charlo. I believe he went the distance with Charlo, right?
Yeah, I worked that fight,
Yeah, he
Charles
went.
Adams. That was kind of dull, but Charlo pretty much dominated it and won. They went to
Yeah,
the
so
second.
he's coming off 3 wins in a row, and then he had that inactivity. So he beat Boachuk. I don't know what happened. He beat Boachuk in 2021, and then he didn't fight again until 2024, which is
Yeah,
strange.
he hasn't really gotten the
Um,
best of the treatment politics wise.
yeah, yeah. But Apollo Thompson. That was way back on some sort of like contender like series. That was in
And,
2000.
and that's his last fight.
No, no, that was the only time he ever got stopped.
Only time he ever got stopped.
Yeah, that was you're talking about 10 years.
Has he been active?
He had those 3 fights in 2024. So he beat Boachuk the first
So this
time
is his
around.
first fight of 2025.
Correct.
Interesting.
Correct. Ba, 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 ba. And it's well, Boachuk beat Mikel Fox, but you know what? Nobody stops Mikel Fox. The guy's
Yeah.
like 6'6". I
Yeah.
bet that fight to go the distance. Nobody's getting rid of Mikel Fox.
Okay.
So that was his last fight, Boachuk. He won a 10 round decision over Fox. Other than
Okay.
that, I mean, he's looked good. With the exception of actually not with the exception, Virgil Ortiz was the one that I honestly thought he won the fight with Virgil Ortiz.
Yeah, yeah. No, I was close. I mean, definitely very tight there.
And
And
was it?
it really showed both of their levels because
Yeah, well, it also showed it was a fight of the year type, fight of the year candidate type fight. I mean, they went to war. It was a really good, entertaining fight.
yeah, and what they've done since is continue to show how impressive both guys are. That
Yeah,
even went up against one another at that point in their careers. That's a very tough fight that you don't see many young studs going chasing those kind of tough fights anymore, So
yeah. No, listen. This is a really good opening bout. Like I said, this is a very good card, and it's not even. I keep saying pay per view. It's not a pay per view because it's on Netflix. So I
yeah,
mean, this is free
yeah,
to. So
yeah,
this is a good representation of boxing in the sense that you can have a lot of casuals tuning in, and you know what? You want to stack that on the card with good, entertaining fights that people are going to remember. Because if you remember with Jake Paul, Mike Tyson, I mean, that's a money grab right there, or just a popularity grab right there. So you had Serrano and Taylor on the undercard. You had
yeah.
important fights on the undercard.
But I think you also have to do that because you have to have real boxing fans want to tune in. I don't know that real boxing fans don't care that much about Canelo and Crawford. Yes, you'll watch because it's boxing, but it doesn't get whet your appetite like a real good matchup that can be action packed. And the
No, not like Mbilli
casuals don't
versus
understand that.
Mbilli versus Martinez. I mean, that's going to be
Yeah.
absolutely.
Even Callum and Vargas Jr., honestly, it's a lot of question marks that, you kind of want to see answered. So it's
Yeah.
and of course with Boachuk having been knocked out by Brandon Adams in the previously, even this raises some curiosity. But none of the casuals will understand these fights. So you got a little bit for the casuals and a little bit for the hardcores. So that's why I like the card and the way they've put it together. So you
Yeah.
like Boachuk on points in this
I'm
fight.
going to stick with that, Paulie. I'm going to back it up with the fight going the distance. But I just he's the more improved fighter. Obviously, one guy is probably on the down slope, the other one's ascending. But yeah, I see this fight going the 10 round distance.
All right, all right. The other next one, they've made Callum and Vargas Jr. the co-main event. I think that's like a Dana White special because he's big on Callum and he's trying to push him to be the next big thing. And that may or may not happen. We'll get to that fight in a second. But the next fight on the card is Lester Martinez and Christian Mbilli, which to me is my favorite fight on this card. And it's a title. It will still be a title eliminator because politics are politics. So
Yeah,
Dana pushed the sanctioning bodies by knocking that fight down to a 10 rounder, and the sanctioning body said, you know what, we'll still make it a title eliminator. We'll change the rules for it.
yeah,
So a worthy fight. I don't know if you're allowed to make 10 rounders as title eliminators, but in boxing they do whatever they want. Either
yeah,
way, this is a tough fight, and this is also another one where we may disagree here, Tommy, because
yeah. I mean, listen,
you
these are
like
all
it's going to go to
pickups,
distance.
honestly.
But here's the thing. Again, these 10 rounders on the undercard make it a bit tricky. Having an extra 2 rounds,
100%.
you a couple of rounds for the stoppage. Because again, this is another fight that I think could be a stoppage. I've worked Lester fights, and I know you're high on Mbilli's durability. I've worked Lester fights. Lester lays dynamite on people. He hits them, and they don't know where they are. But again, Mbilli's tough. He's rugged. He's battle tested. The lack of the extra 2 rounds may make this tricky, and maybe there's not a stoppage. I personally like the underdog Martinez in this fight. I know I may be in the minority, but I've also seen more of Martinez than more people because he's fought on Pro Box several times.
Mhm.
Um, I think he can get the stoppage because I think Mbilli's hittable, and I think Mbilli has shown that he can be hurt. But
Yeah,
but not having 12 rounds, only having 10 rounds could make that a bit tricky, man. Maybe the fight does kind of slide into the distance area. It's not easy here in terms of the gambling side of it.
let me ask you this now. You've probably seen a little bit more Lester Martinez than me. I've only seen him fight a couple of times. His last fight, I think, was like a fourth round knockout. I did bet him, and he did, put money in my pocket. Now, can he fight backing up? Because I
Most
haven't seen
punchers
him
can't.
backed up much.
Most punchers can't fight backing up, and I
Yeah.
have not seen him backed up. I have not
Okay.
seen, but he does have he does have more of a boxer puncher type of style than does Mbilli, who's just straight pressure and kind of one dimensional. Lester kind of does have he'll kind of probe with that lead hand at times and kind of look to set traps for the big right hand. So he's not just puncher. He's got
Yeah.
some boxing skills. As far as being able to box backing up, Tommy, most boxers can't fight backing up either. I mean, it's
Okay.
pretty rare the amount of guys that can fight backing up. But of course, that's a good question to ask because Mbilli, when he's on, is the one backing you up with the all-out pressure. So
Well, it's Mbilli puts a lot of pressure on you. Probably the two glaring things as far as what make him, if you want to call him a special fighter. I know you're not as high as I am, but you got to say the guy's got very good hand speed. I mean, he's explosive and a lot of volume, dude. That's a problem when you've got a little bit of power behind those
but
punches.
he's got he's got hand speed, but is he quick to the trigger? That's two different kinds of speed, because he's a little
Yeah,
heavy-footed. He's a little bit heavy-footed. So can he, once he's in place, he's got hand speed, once he finds his place. But can he, close the gap and keep that hand speed together? Because that's
I
a
don't think I
hand speed.
don't think in this particular fight stylistically he's going to have to. I think there's going to be fought in a phone booth, and these guys going to be right in each other's chest.
You think so? So
Yeah,
if that's the case, then and Mbilli, if that's the case, the way the fight goes, then Mbilli gets a little bit more of what he wants because Lester's more of a pick his bombs type of shot, type of guy. He's gonna come forward, but he backs you up more on intimidating you because he's hitting you and you're like, whoa.
and he also goes
He's
to the
more of
body.
a
He
he's
mixes
more
it
of a
up
middle
well.
range. He's
Yeah, he
more of a
mixes
mid
it up to
range
the
guy.
body.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
more
he
of a
mixes
mid
it
range.
up and he uses his jab a little bit more than Mbilli does. So, dude, it's a coin flip. It's a very difficult fight. Um, you know what? Mbilli has been hurt. We saw him hurt several times against Derevyanchenko, right?
And also against Gongora, I had him down.
Was it the wait? Well, I'm sorry. Was it the? I'm sorry. That's the fight that was in front of the. All right. Well, that's what I watched, Paulie. I watched both of their fights with Gongora lately. And by the way, Gongora, what a chin on that guy. My God, he
Gongora,
he fought both of the. No, I know. Listen. Is he a world class? Is he?
no,
Is
no,
he
no. Gongora is world class at one time. He just got used up. They use him as an opponent for everybody.
yeah, yeah. But what
He
a
had
chin
those
on this
little
guy
connections.
because
Gongora was a good fighter, but
very good
I just
fighter.
don't
Yeah,
know what he had left when he fought Lester. When he fought Mbilli, there was still a little bit left.
and he still went the distance with both these guys and took hellacious shots throughout. So I was watching these fights and I'm like, how is he
Yeah,
taking these shots and firing back?
yeah.
Um, Martinez obviously looked better because he got the little worn out version of him because Mbilli fought him first, correct? Or am I getting that backwards?
Bailey fought him first,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah,
But in my opinion, Gongora was world class at one time. It's just
yeah.
he never got really put in any position to succeed,
Mm,
and it's tough to succeed no matter how good you are when you're not put in any position to succeed.
yeah.
So eventually he got used up, worn out, and you got used as an opponent of both of these guys. But yeah, Mbilli got him first. He had to
Yeah,
go to
okay.
France or Canada, or whatever, to fight Mbilli.
Yeah, and he hurt Mbilli. I mean, one of them could have been rolled a knockdown. He had to basically grab and clinch and fell to the canvas, and the referee waved it off and called it a
Yeah, we
slip.
go hometown cooking there.
Yeah, and then he got buckled again later on. So I mean, that was the one fight where I have seen him hurt on multiple occasions. Where Martinez, to my recollection, I've never seen him even bothered by a punch. I mean, he's just a tough Argentine fighter.
Well,
So I'm sorry, Nicaraguan, Nicaraguan,
Nicaraguan,
right?
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's actually not. He's Guatemalan. He's
So
Guatemalan.
I'm 0 for 3 now, 0 for 2
Yeah.
now. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
You don't see a lot of fighters coming out of Guatemala
Nah, he's not. He's
at
not.
all.
He may be the first or second person ever won a world title from Guatemala. If he wins a world title, I'm not sure if it'd be the first or the second. It's close. It's one or the other.
Well, you know what also was interesting about this fight at 168 is just like is this Canelo Crawford, I should say, the winner of Canelo Crawford's next guy. I mean, this basically becomes the guy at 168, right? As far as the number one contender with an exclamation point.
I think if Mbilli wins, possibly. I don't see Canelo going near Lester, and I think Crawford retires after this fight. So
Really?
I think from my feelings on Canelo, bro. I think they just gotta eviscerate him and get him out of there so the 160-pound division can open up. Because otherwise he'll just keep it locked up the way he has been.
Yeah, yeah.
And contenders won't get any opportunity. But I think Lester, if he wins, would be a big player. But I think Crawford would have to win in the main event in order to do Lester a favor and Lester maybe fight for vacant titles because I don't think Crawford fights. Crawford, is sparring Lester, right? I mean, he's in camp.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's been Crawford's main sparring partners for the fight. So I don't think they would fight. I think Crawford would retire after this fight. But I think
I'm sticking. Boy, I actually like what you said in the last fight with Boachuk. I actually like this one for a live bet more than I do for the Boachuk fight. I'm a little more confident in Boachuk. I just have a weird feeling it's going to go the distance and that he's going to be the victor in that one.
yeah,
So I might leave the live bet situation out of that. Maybe mess with it on this fight and see how things are looking at the 2-3 rounds. Another thing, these are the intangibles Mbilli has though, Paulie. He does have a gas tank too. So I mean, he does have attributes to him: the hand speed, the explosiveness. He's got good power, obviously. I think the power is more due to volume, but volume is another attribute that he brings to the table, and he's got the experience factor over Lester Martinez as far as a world class level goes.
live bet for both of these fights is something to look into for
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, I'm more comfortable with saying Boachuk wins the decision. This one is very tricky, but I mean, we're going to disagree a little bit. I
But also Lester has the kind of power where the fight doesn't look like he's going to be under a knockout and then he hits you and it's a knockout.
Yeah,
Lester has that kind of power. That's the problem with Lester even on a live bet. Like he hits you hard enough to where he ends it all of a sudden. And he could do that.
and could he be overwhelmed at this level that he's never been
But
on?
but then that's where the live bet comes in. You can kind of start to tell if somebody's going to become overwhelmed, right? You
Yeah,
can see the writing on the wall with that. That makes it more feasible.
yeah.
And
So
that's possible because this is his best opponent to date. We'll see. It's a guy who may be able to resist some of his power. We'll see just how real Lester's power is as well. But having worked some of his fights, I've seen the kind of knockouts he gets and the kind of stoppages he gets. He's a devastating guy.
Paul, I'm gonna stick with. I am gonna mess with the live bet, I'm sure, but I'm sticking with this fight, just not going the distance. I think it ends in a knockout one way or the other.
All right.
So that's my pick.
You know what my problem with the live bet is? I'm going to be working the Pro Box live along, so I'm not going to be able to throw in any bets.
No, yeah.
Any live bets. I'll be stuck working the watch along for
Sitting there like this and watching like this.
Anyway.
You're gonna have at least be able to watch it on an iPad or something. The fights, right?
No, we'll be watching the fights and doing a watch along. We'll be,
you do the watch. Okay, gotcha.
I may be texting you to throw something in. We'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll have the watch along in the Pro Box studio
Okay.
during the fights. Let's move on to the next one, man. The co-main event, courtesy of Dana White, is not Martinez and Mbilli. It's Callum Walsh and Fernando Vargas Jr. So, good fight.
Yeah.
A lot of trickiness here. One thing that stands out about this fight, Vargas Jr. has never been past 6 rounds, and that's something. It's a red flag for you, correct?
Correct. Big red flag. He's only been at 6 rounds one time, Paul. One
Mhm.
single time he went 6 rounds.
Okay.
Walsh has been 10 rounds. I think he had a 9th round stoppage once as well. So he's been rounds where Vargas, a majority of his fights ended very early.
And this is a step up for both, you would say, right?
I would say so. Yeah. Neither guy has fought, huge competition, but I think that Walsh, on top of his amateur pedigree, I think that he's just fought a little bit better level of competition. But also, when I see them both fight, I think he's the more polished fighter of the two. I think both guys have decent size. Both guys obviously have power, but power at a lower level. I think that Walsh has a little more diversity. He can box a little more, use his jab, puts combinations together and mixes it up to the head and body. I think that he's got a speed advantage here. I think he's just a more polished fighter. That doesn't mean that Vargas doesn't crack him on the chin and put him out. Again, there's a lot of unknowns about these two guys. They haven't been with anybody.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. What do you think about Walsh's ability to have that late power? You think there's a possible between the combination of Walsh having late power and Vargas Jr. never going past six? Does that bring anything stand anything out for you?
That's why I'm kind of leaning for this fight not going the distance. I think there's a decent possibility the Walsh gets the stoppage.
This is tough, man. These are good matchups,
And I'm
man.
not, yeah, I told you this is a great undercard. It's a great, really good card. You know what? I mean, you got to think about it, Paulie. It's not just the stamina department. You could be in the gym and spar 10 rounds, 12 rounds, 15 rounds, and you think you have the gas tank. When you're in front of that live crowd on this kind of platform on Netflix in front of 80,000 people in Vegas in a football stadium, it changes things.
Yeah,
Vargas has never been anywhere near this level.
yeah,
All of
yeah.
a sudden, your heart races, your anxiety is up. It's a difficult situation, and then you're fighting somebody much better than you ever fought before.
So, what do you think, man?
And you know what? Just if remembering his father, I mean, remember how temperamental his father was and fought off emotion. Does he have the boxing IQ to stay composed, stay relaxed? It's kind of in the bloodline. These guys want to go to war.
Okay, let me bring in another question that has to be asked. How's Walsh against Southpaws? Have you seen him against Southpaws?
I would be lying on that one. I have not seen him against Southpaw.
Okay.
I didn't do a deep dive on him because the couple of fights I've seen of him recently were early knockouts. I believe his last fight was a first round knockout. But
Okay. Is because he also, right-handed Southpaw, fight not to go to distance. It could be headbutts. It could be a lot of things, right?
yeah, yeah. I mean, I know you always like to bring up the possibility of a head clash, and that can definitely screw you up if you're betting the distance, obviously.
Yeah.
Um,
But if it's better to not go to distance, which you kind of lean towards anyway, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Win
So
with
this fight,
a headbutt, no?
yeah, you know what? Similar to Mbilli versus Martinez, I'm going to go with this fight just not going the distance because, hey, listen, there's an opportunity for Vargas to land a shot too. And we discussed this. They're really Irish fighters tend to reach a certain level, even when they're big, they're big prospects and they have amateur pedigree and they get hyped. How many Irish world champions do we say?
Not many.
Far, far, far and few. It's like they can reach a certain level and they can't get past that level. Now, that doesn't mean he doesn't get past Vargas because, again, both of these guys to a degree are novices. These guys, you can't even call them contenders. There's a battle between two prospects and the winner becomes a contender.
Yeah, we were at Pro Box. We were basically saying this is basically a Pro Box TV main event, but Dana pushed it past Martinez and Mbilli into the co-main event slot because of his hedging towards Walsh as his go-to guy, as his
Yeah,
main prospect to turn into a star. I guess we'll see. This is going to tell us a lot about both fighters. We've heard a lot about both fighters. They've gotten their share of hype. This is a very good fight, I think. To me, I would rather see Martinez and Mbilli get their shine in the co-main event, but nonetheless,
I agree.
this on the card is really, really something that sparks curiosity and is a reason for the hardcore fans to get excited.
Okay.
So let's go to the main event, dude. Canelo and Crawford. This one's getting a lot of traction here this week with Crawford's weight, Crawford's look, and all this other stuff, yada yada yada. There's people
Maybe a shoulder injury.
maybe, yeah. What's that? What's up with that? What are you
I don't
hearing?
know. I started coming out yesterday that potentially his shoulder's been bothering him for the last 8 to 10 weeks. I mean, who knows what's true and what's not?
Ugh, man, this is so what do we do with that information? Do what you will with that information? Is it one of those?
Kind of. I mean,
It, like,
listen. I mean, I want you weighing in on this one because, I mean, this fight, Paulie, in the beginning when they first announced this fight, I was leaning towards Terence Crawford. I
Mhm,
feel, and I've been saying it for years, Alvarez is a declining fighter. His knockout days are over. I've repeated that over and over and over again. And I've been winning bets on him going the distance for decisions the last 4 years. He hasn't had a knockout since
mhm,
2021. I got him at like 3 plus 350 against who is
Delaney.
the Ryder against Ryder.
Mhm,
I got him with plus odds, I think plus 240 against Charlo. And keep this in mind because we're going to get into it in a little bit, but people keep talking about the weight. Charlo jumped from 152 pounds and fought
mhm,
Alvarez in his next fight after a year layoff. Very
mhm.
similar situation to Crawford, and went the distance with Alvarez.
Good point.
So, that's something to think about. Now, there are a lot of things, as far as unpacking Alvarez first. Yes, he's a declining fighter. I don't think he's nearly as diverse as he once was. He used to set traps. He used to be very creative with his punch selection. I think that he's gotten lazy over the years, just pressing guys, coming forward, high guard, walking guys down, mental and physical pressure. And that worked until it didn't work against a bigger guy in Baval. right? So I don't think that Alvarez is the fighter that he once was. I mean, I think that's painfully obvious at this point. This isn't the guy that fought Miguel Cotto, 10 years ago, that was
Mhm.
setting traps and coming back with explosive combinations from with counterpunching. But he's still Canelo Alvarez. He still has very good defense. He still has a concrete chin, maybe the best chin in the business. He still has very respectable power, very respectable hand speed. But also, you know what you're going to get with Alvarez. You know that you're getting 40 punches around max, more like 30. I mean, he's very economic with his punch output. So can Crawford go out there and just steal rounds? Absolutely. Can he get a decision in Vegas? That makes it a little trickier. Then you look at the Crawford side. You say to yourself, these are the things that I don't like, Paulie. What I don't like is that the inactivity is a big one for me. I mean, this guy hasn't fought in over a year. He's got, I think, 4 fights in the last 5 years. You don't go into a big fight like this at 168 pounds and not take a tune up in a new weight class. He had the opportunity to do so, but Alvarez went ahead and did the right and smart thing. And it was a horrible fight with Skull, but I mean, he kept himself active, went to a training camp, and he fought Skull. It was obviously stylistically a horrible fight, and that was more Skull than Alvarez. But I think that Crawford was more secure with more concerned with just securing that big payday, securing that bag, and didn't want to take a chance, which I think that might come back and bite him in the ass here.
You know, you talk about the Cotto fight, you say it's not the Canelo of the Cotto fight, but even the Canelo of the Cotto fight had trouble with a jabber. Cotto's jab was very effective in that fight. I
Very
think
good point.
Canelo has had trouble with guys with good jabs.
And that's one thing that Crawford can do.
Crawford has, and he can do out of both stances. He can also switch.
Mm-hmm.
So something also to keep in mind, which tends to slow the pace even more, give you control of the pace a little bit, and give the fight the ability to go more rounds than people may anticipate. And then you brought up a great point with the Charlo fight. I hadn't thought about that. Charlo had a long layoff, come out from 154, and the fight easily went the distance. Yeah, Charlo had a knockdown against him, but fight easily went the distance, and it wasn't much of a fight. And that was a Charlo against a Charlo who wasn't trying.
That was what I was my next question to you, though. Charlo went into survival mode early and realized, hey, I'm in over my head. I don't think Crawford has that. Crawford's a
Yeah.
dog.
So does that allow the fight more to go to distance, or could that get him stopped because he wants to win?
Again, Paulie, this is why I keep going back and forth because Alvarez used to break you down a little bit and get you the second half of the fight. So Alvarez used to be one of my bets where I used to bet Alvarez KOs the second 7 through 12. Now you get through those first 6 rounds with Alvarez, where he usually drops a guy early, like Berlanga.
Yeah.
Yeah, he dropped
Ryder.
Charlo early. He dropped Ryder early in the third round. He dropped Munguia early. He scores these early knockdowns, and then he kind of cruises the rest of the fight. He domesticates you to a point, and then he kind of goes into cruise control, right? Crawford, on the other hand, is a better second half fighter than Alvarez. So things can get very interesting in the second half of the fight. Maybe Alvarez starts off real good the first 4, 5, 6 rounds until Crawford gets his feet. And we saw in Crawford's last fight where he did not look great in his 154-pound debut, but what won him that fight was rounds 8 through 12, that late surge. He became a different fighter the second half of the fight. It kept backing up Madrimov, and that's what won him the fight.
What do you think about, you know, Crawford in the second half of the fight carrying around all this weight? Could it affect his stamina? A lot of
Another
weight to carry
intangible
around.
we don't know about. Another intangible. There's so many intangibles in this fight. Again, like on the Alvarez side, you say to yourself, here's a declining fighter. Here's a guy that's not the complete package that he once was. That's reliant on just simple mental and physical pressure coming forward. He's not setting the traps that he once did. He doesn't use the jab at all anymore. But then you look on the Crawford side, you say, all right, well, this guy's jumping 2 weight classes after only fighting once at 154, not looking great in that fight. He's coming off another over a year of inactivity. So, I mean, there's things on both sides that you got to worry about. And obviously the weight gain.
So what is it here? Do you think the fight goes the distance? Because do you think Crawford can win? Do you think there's an upset on the cards? Can Crawford get a decision?
I always worried about Crawford getting the decision in Vegas. As you know, Alvarez is the toughest guy in all of boxing to beat on the cards. I mean, if he wins that 12th round against Bivol in a fight that he lost 9-3, Paulie, he would have walked away with a draw that night, which is just criminal.
Yeah.
Bivol had to close the show in the 12th round to get the win over Alvarez. So Alvarez is very difficult to beat on the scorecards. And also, I mean, listen, the guy's close to knockout proof. He's never been knocked down in nearly 70 pro fights. The only single time he was ever hurt in his career was against Miguel Cotto's brother, and that was when he was an 18 or 19-year-old prospect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, I mean, that means the only path to victory for Crawford would be by decision, right? But that decision is be very difficult to get over Alvarez in Vegas.
Yeah, is that still the case? Is this fight such a microscope fight where everybody's watching? It's a Netflix fight that they would rob Crawford if he does deserve the decision. Would they have the? I mean, granted, boxing has the nerve to do anything, but
Yeah, it would be a bad look for the sport, that's for
you
sure. With
know.
so many eyeballs on the sport, it would be a bad look.
So what I'm gathering is you think this fight goes the distance because we're talking about scorecards here. You don't think Canelo can get Crawford out of there?
Probably not. Listen, my pick was always the fight going the distance, with the possibility for a big possibility for a Crawford upset, but couldn't get a decision. So I was
Mhm.
always backing up my bets. I was putting small bets in for Crawford. I was parlaying those because I do think the fight goes a different distance. And with Crawford at plus 260 for a decision, Paulie, all you got to do is throw a couple of reliable legs. Now you're at plus 450, plus 500. So I've been
Mhm.
doing that over the course of the last couple of months with very small bets. But on top of that, I've always been backing that up, knowing that maybe he doesn't get the scorecard, the decision on the scorecards. So I've been backing that up with just fights to go the distance at I think around minus 330, which I've been trying to parlay into plus odds. So I do see this fight going the distance. But does Crawford get the nod? And does he deserve the nod? We don't even know if he, listen, don't underrate Alvarez's overall boxing ability. I just think that the guy is a declining, product at this point.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
But also one thing we have not talked about, and we didn't mention, Crawford's no spring chicken either. This isn't a 32-year-old kid he's fighting. You
No
know,
spring chicken and long layoffs, over a year layoff, and before that he had a year layoff before this, after the Spence fight. So he's had one fight in about 26 months.
And listen, who do you blame on that? I mean, listen, he wanted this big fight, this big opportunity, this big purse. But you know what? You got to blame the fighter for this inactivity because
Yeah,
if you're going to make a fight with a Canelo Alvarez and this is the fight that Dana White wanted. This was the fight that this is Dana White's first collaboration with
Turkey.
Turkey, right? So they wanted Crawford the entire time. Crawford could have demanded a fight, a tune-up fight. He just
Mm,
wanted to secure this bag, and I think that could be a nail in the coffin for him. That inactivity. Also, Paulie getting hit by a guy at 168 pounds. This is his first fight at 168.
yeah, yeah, I know.
It's a little different. So, I mean, do I ultimately lean towards the fight going the distance, and I'll kind of stick with that one. But you never know. Crawford's got a lot of dog in him. He's not Charlo. I think he's going to fight back. He's not a mover. People talk about Alvarez doesn't cut the ring off like he used to, but this isn't Floyd Mayweather he's fighting. Crawford was never a guy that used his legs and moved a lot.
Mhm.
He can switch lefty righty. He's got a good jab. He'll bounce and move just a little bit. But again, you're talking about 36, 37-year-old legs now.
Yeah.
So
All right. So you for this fight you like it to go to distance. That's just a no pick because Crawford you don't trust the judges.
I don't trust the judges. I
Yeah.
don't trust the judges. My pick, I'm going to stick with what my pick was all along. And I know that Crawford's got a lot of check marks going against him, but I think that Alvarez has check marks going against him as well.
Mhm.
But also, I mean, Alvarez is going to be very motivated for this fight, fighting a smaller guy and trying to make a statement. I mean, at the end of the day, Alvarez is no longer one of those top 5 or 6 pound guys, right? You
Yeah.
agree that he's at the very end of the top 10 pound for pound list.
Mhm.
Crawford is on most people's 1, 2, or 3. I mean, he's in your top 3, right? So this is still a statement victory to a degree from Alvarez, which says, "Hey, I'm still here."
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right, man. That's the show. We'll be back tomorrow then for the Inoue card, right? Inoue show
Yes.
tomorrow because
Yep.
Inoue is early Sunday morning. We're still trying to figure out and where the Inoue fight is going to be televised, right? I mean that's kind of an interesting one as well because Top Rank no longer has the ESPN deal, so
Yeah. Yeah.
I
I'm
guess
sure I'll be able to. It'll
maybe
be on something. I'll find it somewhere.
maybe our friends in the comments can let us know.
Yeah, yeah. If
That,
anybody in the
you know?
comments that sees this video knows how to watch the Inoue fight on Sunday morning, which in America on the East Coast is something like the
Yeah.
card starts at like 4:35 a.m. Inoue
Guys,
usually, yeah, Inoue usually fights around 7:15.
uh,
Let us know.
yeah. All right, man. This is Paulie Malignaggi. That's Tommy Rainone. This has been Tommy and Paulie's Big Fight Forecast. Remember, everything discussed on Tommy and Paulie's Big Fight Forecast is not betting or gambling advice. It is strictly for entertainment purposes. We hope you have been entertained with this week's discussion. Tune in tomorrow. We'll have the Inway card.